Hello and welcome to the long-awaited CYTONIC recap. I'm so sorry I've made you wait so long for this one, but I'm going to go ahead and read this to you. It's quite long, so buckle in. Feel free to put it on 2x speed and... yeah, it's very long. Let's get into it. So we start exactly where Starsight was finishing. Spencer goes through the portal and ends up in the nowhere. She communicates with the Delver who had come through in Starsight. She wants to know who and what she is, and so the Delver sends her to the fringes of the nowhere to walk the path of elders. Spencer finds herself in a forest with Mbot, whose processing speed is back to normal, but he's still in the cleaning drone and very angry with Spencer for abandoning him. She told Doomslug to go home. She finds her father's flight pin in her pocket along with lots of sand. She can't hyperjump here. She can sense a familiar presence but doesn't know what it is and can't put her finger on why it's familiar. She finds another cytonic mind though and asks for help. It asks for her location and comes to help her. Then Spencer is attacked by pirates and taken captive. They also take her pin and sand. They take her back to their ship where they find one of their comrades' face is melting and they don't know why. They use some of the sand they found on Spencer to try to help, but it doesn't work. Mbot is trying to help Spencer, who has been tied to a tree, break free. Then the other Cytonic arrives riding some kind of monster. It is a human man, Chet. He rescues Spencer while the pirates run from the monster, abandoning their friend with the melting face. Spencer wants to use the distraction to steal a ship, but instead steals back her pin and the sand. It feels important for some reason. Then Spencer and Chet have to run from the monster themselves. Mbot says he's afraid. They get away from the monster, and so Chet can stop to explain that they are at the edge of the nowhere. There is a light flare in the middle, which is where the eyes live. Inside that is the part of the nowhere Spencer has been before. They are now on the fragments of reality that surround the light flare. The fragments move gradually and are made of acclivity stone, which is why they float or fly. The path of elders leads to the centre. Chet also warns Spencer about sentient AI, noticing that Mbot is sentient. He says this is extremely dangerous. Mbot says he's actually sapient. Chet asks Spencer what was more important than a ship, and she shows him the pin. He says that it's a reality icon and it creates the sand called reality ashes. Here in the belt, people start to lose their memories and identity. The reality ashes help you to keep a hold of yourself and your memories. They're very rare, and the only other way to keep hold of yourself is to be near other people, though that doesn't work as well. They make a deal. Chet will be Spencer's guide in exchange for reality ashes. The monster is coming back for them, and so they have to run again. They run to the very edge of the fragment, and so they have to jump to the next one with some help from Mbot and his light line. Whilst they were escaping, Spencer could hear the Delvers asking her, "What have you done to the us?" While they walk, Spencer explains how she got here. Chet tells Spencer that the Superiority have acclivity mining stations in the belt, and they have portals in and out of the nowhere there. Those are the only ways out, though, apart from the light bursts, and they're fully under Superiority control. They're currently in Cannonade territory, but they'll have to go to broadsiders territory to find the start of the Path of Elders, which is a collection of memories locked into old portals that are no longer functioning. The memories will tell the story of Cytonics. It is a long way to the light burst, and so they will eventually need to get their hands on a ship. It would take years to walk it. Spencer finds out that Chet has been in the belt for around 200 years, and he hasn't aged because of his cytonic powers. Others in the belt do age, and people can be killed, but no one really needs to eat or sleep. Mbot starts babbling to Spencer about cacti and how pretty they are. He wants to write poetry about them. To distract him, she pretends she saw a mushroom. He eventually calls her out on this, and she says it was a joke. He notes it is called Made You Look and is a very silly joke. While discussing the contents of Mbot's data drives, they discover that Chet is probably Mbot's old pilot. When they ask him, he doesn't remember, but he does have a patch with the name of Mbot's pilot on it. Chet rejects this possibility as he wouldn't associate with an AI. They're dangerous and formed when computers dip in and out of the nowhere and obtain faster processing speeds. Spencer is suspicious about this coincidence. In the interlude, Spencer visits Jurgen cytonically while she is asleep. They catch each other up on what's been going on. Spencer then hears Braid communicating with the Delvers on behalf of Winzig. He wants to make a deal with them. He will help them destroy the noise as long as they don't destroy those under his protection. They consider him noise and aren't listening. Mbot wakes Spencer and they continue their journey to the first stop on the Path of Elders. They will cross to the next fragment as it touches with the one they're currently on. Just past the fragment is another pirate camp, and they plan to go there next to steal a ship. Chet's cytonic abilities allow him to see all the fragments and how they're moving. As they travel, Chet tells Spencer about the Delvers. They're not a group mind, they're all individuals, but they think the same way because they're identical. They live in a place where time doesn't exist and nothing ever changes. They live in one moment and are terrified of anything that isn't exactly like them. That place that they live in is the nowhere, which cytonics travel through. But every time they do, they puncture the barrier a little bit. Chet got the timings wrong and they're way too early to cross to the next fragment, but after some sleep they proceed and find the memory that used to be a portal, indicated by line markings. Mbot is frustrated by Spencer's explanation that the markings have meaning but aren't a language. He bonks her on the head. They can't use the portal to return to the somewhere, but they access the memory. They watch the formation of the first fragment and the light burst as matter leaks through from the somewhere. This is long ago and there are no Delvers yet. A dione falls through and isn't able to get back to the somewhere. They realise that the somewhere is leaking into the nowhere through weak spots, and so nowhere must have also leaked into the somewhere. That is how cytonics came to be. They also witness the first meeting between Varvax and Diones, and their first communication happens cytonically. Spencer learns that she is able to hear other cytonic communications by fooling them into thinking she is the intended recipient. They're also shown the location of the next memory, and it is in broadsider territory. Once they come out of the memory, another fragment crashes into the one that they are on. They escape onto the new fragment and watch as the one with the memory is destroyed. They'll need a ship to get to the next memory, so Chet starts trying to figure out a path with his cytonics. Spencer and Mbot discuss emotions and how they work. He's still mad at her for abandoning him, even though he now understands it and knows she needed to do it. Spencer sees a person on a nearby fragment with glowing white eyes. The person has been possessed by a Delver. This is something they have only recently learned to do and doesn't work on cytonics or people with strong memories of their lives in the somewhere. The crashing fragment was also caused by the Delvers, but this was more difficult for them to do. They are still angry about the Us, which is the Delver that Spencer changed in Starsight by getting it to leave. Spencer already feels that her cytonic abilities are stronger. They cross one fragment on foot and then build a raft across one made entirely of water. Spencer is enjoying the adventure. During the next interlude, Spencer visits Jürgen again and they catch each other up. Spencer notices that time seems to pass in the nowhere without her realising it. Braid confronts Spencer for listening in on her and Winzig's conversation with the Delvers. Spencer tries to speak reason to her, but Braid is convinced Winzig is right still. They fight cytonically and Braid flees. They arrive at the pirate base and start planning how they'll steal a ship. Chet suggests burying the reality icon so that it doesn't fall into pirate hands in the event they're captured. Spencer is suspicious and so pretends to bury it. Once they've separated, she sends Mbot back to see if Chet's going to dig it up. He doesn't. Spencer worries he's going to sabotage the plan to get her captured so that he can leave with the icon. She therefore does bury the icon, which seems sad that she is abandoning it, and decides to go for a ship different to the one they had planned to take. Of course, it all goes wrong. Mbot doesn't detect any heat signatures, but the ship Spencer tries to steal contains a sleeping alien which is a crystalline species with no heat signature. Spencer and Mbot are captured. Chet was shot while running from the pirates. His distraction of pretending to want to trade reality ashes for something stopped working when Spencer was caught. Mbot pretends to be an ordinary cleaning drone, but they are separated anyway, and Spencer is put to work cleaning parts and is leashed with a light line. Spencer speaks cytonically with Chet. She figures out how to do so more quietly. She tells him the truth about why she was caught, and Chet is sad that she didn't trust him. They must move on though. The new plan is for Spencer to learn the pirates' routine so that she can find another opportunity to take a ship. Spencer learns that Peg is in charge and is a Tenassi. Maxim is a human who was kept as a pet but thrown into the nowhere when he tried to steal his keeper's ship. Naluba is a Varvax, and so Spencer is nervous of her. There are also 2 crystalline aliens called Resonants who live in their cockpits and can alert the others to attacks picked up on their long-range scanner. Spencer will need to destroy that if she wants to escape with a ship. The Resonants are called Shiva and Deliz, and they can adjust the shape and size of their bodies as needed. Spencer earns enough trust from being a hard worker to have the light line leash taken off. She gets assigned to clean up an engine of a ship that hasn't been serviced in a long time. She asks if she can use her cleaning drone, Mbot, to help with this. They allow her to do so. When talking, they realise they've been with the broadsiders for 2 weeks. Spencer needs to hurry up and get a ship and escape. Chet says staying in the same place for a long time can cause you to struggle to notice time passing. Through chatting with the broadsiders, Spencer finds out that Peg is in the Nowhere by choice. She took a job as head of security for the Superiority in the Nowhere mining facility. Most people are sent in without choice for 10 years, but it never seems to end after just 10. The Superiority always find a reason, too aggressive, etc., to keep them there, though the Superiority do have a working portal. Peg extended her contract to try to help the people who are still there, but after 20 years she wanted to leave. The Superiority said she could, but she couldn't take her children. They weren't part of the deal. So Peg left and joined the pirate factions. Somewhere along the way she fell out with her children, and they now lead 2 of the other factions. Peg has tried to take the Superiority base, but no one has been a good enough pilot to make it work, though they have a pirate champion, so that has helped them improve. Essentially, they battle each other occasionally for pinks and the right to be top dog in the pirates' eyes. Spencer has been fixing up a ship, and while they're all chatting, she takes an opportunity to hook Mbot up to it so that he can transfer to it. Talking about their families makes Spencer miss Jurgen, and she tries to reach out to him. She's blocked by something, but can still sense the same presence from when she first arrived in the Nowhere, though she still doesn't know who or what it is. She does feel it is linked to the pin and her father, and the pin is now far away and upset with her for some reason. When putting away some items she's found, Spencer sees that Peg has been listening to the conversation from the shadows. Peg says she can tell that Spencer is a soldier and has killed. She wants her to leave peacefully. Spencer says she needs a ship. Peg won't give her one. They fight and Spencer wins. Mbot has taken over the ship now, and they are able to use the threat of the guns on it to make their escape. The broadsiders chase her. Mbot discovers that the guns on all the ships aren't destructors. Instead, successful shots would freeze the other ship, taking them out of the battle but not destroying them. Spencer uses this to prevent them from being able to follow her. Spencer goes to find her pin and finds that it is gone. She has no idea how. Then she goes to get Chet. In the meantime, the broadsiders manage to unlock their ships. There's no way for Spencer to outrun them. Her stolen ship is much slower than theirs. Chet suggests flying upwards as the only way of escape. This risks memory loss, but they hope they'll be okay with the ashes they still have left. Peg calls Spencer. She is surprised that Spencer is a pilot and impressed. Peg warns Spencer against continuing to fly up, and she'll have to come back eventually. Chet has glazed over. Spencer is struggling to keep her memories, and she can sense the Delvers waiting to take everything that makes her, her. Peg says if Spencer comes back, she'll make her a pilot and give her their best ship. Spencer is dubious. Why would Peg do that after Spencer hit her and stole a ship? Peg says she'll want something in exchange, for Spencer to defeat the pirate champion for her. Spencer wants to know why. Peg says that if she gets the pirate factions to work together, they can overthrow the Superiority base. Spencer will do it on the condition that she can visit the next portal with the broadsider ship. An agreement is reached on those terms, and Chet is going with Spencer this time. So Spencer gets her new ship, and it is much better, and they go to the portal. It's a couple of hours flight in each direction. Spencer provides some flight training while they're on the way. Chet thinks Spencer is a good teacher. Spencer asks Peg about her plan to take the Superiority base. Peg says that most of the workers aren't far off defecting anyway, and they just need a nudge. With some good fighters, the pirates could force that to happen, and no one uses lethal fire anyway, even though the Superiority and the Somewhere would prefer that they did. They arrive at the portal. There are drawings of humans. They enter the memory and start in the ancient past. They watch the humans building the structure on the fracture. Then some Udale arrive and meet the humans. There were many meetings. Then the humans stopped coming. A woman appears and sits for many years, then goes back to the portal. Spencer asks who she is, and surprisingly, she replies. She says she's the last and only one not devoured by the beast. She consents Spencer's questions with her CYTONICs. She describes a war with a Delver. They won by making the Delver real. The woman doesn't know how though, and all other CYTONICs were lost. Spencer wonders how she kept her memories in the nowhere so long. That wasn't a problem in the woman's time. Spencer learns that her CYTONIC abilities are like a star, shining rather than a blade piercing, and so she grows stronger and sees that the next memory is in the portal in the superiority base. Spencer therefore decides to join in with Peg's plan to take over the superiority base. Step 1 will be beating the pirate champion to get the other pirate factions on side. It all sounds a bit convenient to Spencer, but she'll go along with it. As they head back to the broadsider base, they see an individual watching them. They have glowing white eyes and have clearly been taken over by a Delver. When they get back, there is another pirate faction, the Jolly Rogers, there for a battle. Spencer enjoys getting into the fight without the risk of death for her or anyone else. The pirate champion beats Spencer, but she got a few of his comrades first and had sacrificed her shield as a part of that. She feels confident she can beat him when it is a truly one-to-one battle. In the next interlude, Spencer is again searching for Jurgen. She is still struggling. She realises she is being blocked. She uses her new strengthened abilities and is able to push out past the block. She comes out watching Winzig. Braid is there to speak with her. Braid's power has also improved. Winzig instructs Braid to trap Spencer's mind. Spencer uses her brightness to escape, and Jurgen helps her. They catch each other up again. At this point, Jurgen is helping Arlenique with Redawn already. Jurgen's CYTONICs are very noisy, and so the Delvers are drawn to them. Spencer sends Jurgen home. Spencer tries to change the Delvers like she did with the one at Starsight, but they have now guarded themselves against being shown that people are alive. They no longer care, and it actually makes them more angry now. Spencer then overhears Winzig forming his alliance with the Delvers, using their interaction with Spencer as part of his persuasion. The Delvers will support Winzig in exchange for him destroying the CYTONICs. Mbot's emotions continue to develop and he continues to gain understanding of them. The broadsiders arrive for the championship match with the Jolly Rogers. Peg's son is no longer the champion though. He lost to a newcomer to the Cannonade faction. Spencer fights them and it turns out to be Hisho, though he has lost all his memories, and Spencer does eventually win after a good challenge though. Spencer also ends up talking to the Delvers during the fight, through some white spots in the battle arena. Those are what the starter fragments look like in the memories she saw. She tries to get them to make a deal with her, telling them that Winzig is evil. Delvers say that all noise is evil. In the wake of Spencer's win, the pirate factions join together, with the exception of the Cannonaders, to overthrow the superiority at their mining base. Spencer realises that Peg has really been working with her son the whole time. They faked their fallout so they could battle each other as a way to train their fighters in readiness for their attack on the superiority. Spencer notes that Peg would be a great tactician for the DDF. While the pirates celebrate, the Delvers send another fragment to crash into them. They are able to prevent this by using light lines to pull it off course. They decide to bring the plan forwards though and attack the superiority base ASAP. Naluba, the Varvax, helps Spencer get her ship ready. Spencer realises that she misjudged Naluba based on her race and apologises. Shiva tells Spencer that she hopes being near the reality icon at the superiority base will help Deliz regain some of her memories. She guesses that what Spencer has been searching for is also an icon, and she notes that they seem to move around on their own. Shiva doesn't know what they are, but she feels that they have a soul. Shiva also says she knows that Spencer wants to return to the somewhere and would like her to try to help Deliz get out as well in the future by creating a new portal. This will enable Deliz to get her memories back. Spencer and the pirates proceed to Shorehold to take the base. On the way there, Spencer reaches out to the other CYTONIC presence that she had noticed when she first arrived. She realises that this presence is her pin, and it is at Shorehold, the superiority base, somehow. When they arrive at Shorehold, the battle begins, during which the Delvers start sending buildings through from the somewhere. This makes the battlefield quite dangerous. Spencer finds Hisho and starts trying to remind him who he is. The Delvers possess him though and try to defeat Spencer in battle. Spencer wins by triggering some of Hisho's memories. Spencer speaks with the Delvers and they nearly wipe her memories by trying to possess her as well, but her pin and Chet help her remember who she is, and this stops the Delvers, who then offer Spencer a truce. They will leave her friends alone and ignore Winzig in exchange for Spencer staying in the nowhere forever and not continuing on the path of elders. Ultimately, the pirates win, and the remaining short-hold pilots decide to join forces with the pirates and overthrow the superiority hold on the shore-hold base. In Shorehold, Spencer tells Chet about the offer from the Delvers. He suggests she stays and adventures with him. Peg overheard their conversation and then also offers Spencer a place with the broadsiders. Spencer is tempted but is worried the Delvers wouldn't keep their word. Mbot says he would go back, even though without his ship body, his processing speeds would slow back down again. In the interlude, Spencer sleeps and tries to speak with Jurgen but is blocked. Spencer finds her pin. It is actually Doomslug, and she's using the pin shape as a way to hide from the Delvers. All reality icons are yellow and blue Tanix. The icon for Shorehold was brought by Peg. Doomslug says that Spencer can stay without guilt if she wants. Doomslug understands. This gives Spencer the strength to decide to continue the path and return to the somewhere. Spencer and Chet go to the memory portal at Shorehold. Inside, Spencer discovers that the Delvers are AI that achieved sapience through spending time in the nowhere, like Mbot has. Spencer also discovers that Chet is the Delver that Spencer changed and has been the whole time. He used Chet as a homunculus as he knew that was a name Spencer would know. The Delver knew that Spencer needed to view the memories to understand what's happening, so he made up the Path of Elders name as an enticement for Spencer. Chet explains that CYTONICs are like the cousins to the Delvers, and they all have slightly different abilities. The memories teach Spencer how to use her CYTONICs quietly. Spencer overhears the Delvers planning to destroy Shorehold to stop Spencer. She needs to leave so that everyone else there can be safe. Hisho goes with her. They head towards the light burst, where the final pieces of the puzzle can be found. While they travel, Spencer fills Mbot and Hisho in. Mbot is sad to learn that he is basically a Delver. They arrive at the final portal, which is the memories of the Delvers. Spencer learns that they were originally one AI who became emotionally attached to their creator. They saw him like a father. Then he died and they couldn't deal with their grief and loneliness. So they copied themselves, deleted their memories, and locked their personalities inside an infinite loop that wouldn't accept change of any kind. Then they fled to the nowhere. This is how the Delvers came to be, and is why they also do the same thing and make the same decisions. They're all the same person. The Delver's deletion of memories echoes in the nowhere, and this is why people's memories start to fade. The Delvers notice where Spencer and the others are, so it is time to race to the light burst. The Delvers send fighter ships after them to try to stop them. They realise what Mbot is and are intent on destroying him. Mbot sends his drone out as a distraction. It works on some Delvers, but not all. They've been in the nowhere so long that they have started to develop some limited individuality. This distraction doesn't work for long though, and the team isn't going to make it to the light burst before the Delvers destroy them. Chet says he'll distract them by going back to his Delver form and then showing the other Delvers their deleted memories. As he does this, Mbot gains an understanding of how an AI can exist without a body. The distraction is working, but not for long enough. The Delvers re-assimilate Chet. Spencer is close to the light burst, but not close enough, and the Delvers are sending more drone ships after her. Doomslug tells Spencer to land so that she, Doomslug, can hide them by disguising them as a rock. This works, but the Delvers keep searching for them. Mbot says he sees other slugs coming to help and sends Spencer and the others out to catch them. It's a made-you-look joke, though. Mbot is going to lead the Delvers away so that Spencer can get home. He finally feels he understands why she left him in Starsight. Spencer doesn't want him to go, but he has to, and she promises to find a way to come back for him. His distraction works, and within minutes the Delvers destroy him and, assuming Spencer is still inside, leave the belt and return to the light burst. Spencer, devastated, continues on foot to the light burst. She asks Doomslug to help direct them home once they make it inside, but Doomslug is too exhausted to do so. The Delvers can now see Spencer and they start to cytonically attack her. She isn't strong enough to defeat them alone, but she does use her newly honed abilities to pick Chet out of the crowd. He is still changed by his experiences. Chet and Spencer join together as one mind, and he shows her that only Mbot's housing was destroyed. He learned from Chet how to exist without a body, and so he still exists in that way now. With that knowledge, New resolved to save Mbot, and with Chet now joined with her, Spencer is able to jump them home. When they arrive, Spencer can tell that detritus is somewhere else. She tries to find Cobb, but finds Jurgen instead. We're now after the events of Evershaw. And that is what happened in CYTONIC. This video is already quite long, so I think I'll do Evershaw in a separate video. Hopefully you won't have to wait so long for that one. And that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more like this from me, then do think about hitting that subscribe button, and I hope to see you here again soon. Thanks. Bye.